this autumn day, it's easy for Dan Vredovel to take in the sight while walking his dog around his subdivision. But the sounds.
It's pretty loud, right? It's convenient for us to be able to drive here and there, but ultimately sitting in my backyard, it gets louder and louder every time that they do some sort of construction to the road. So
about how long ago would you say it got increasingly worse?
When they ended up redoing the new road, right after the repairs.
So I know there were conversations about bringing noise barriers, but we still don't see them. How frustrating is that to be in the same situation, knowing there's been discussion, there's actually money allocated for it, but yet here we are?
It's frustrating, right? So as a subdivision, we talk about it during our meetings and stuff like that, and we try to get them, we assign people to try to go after, talk with state or city people to be able to, let's get this project rolling and see what we can do about it.
In the past, because when we were driving up, we noticed that there were some noise barriers, and from what I saw from previous stories, I think this particular area didn't get them right away because it didn't meet a certain threshold for decibels. Like, what was the conversation that you heard initially as far as why it wasn't placed here as well? Yeah,
so there's decibel readings that they ended up taking. They did some sort of survey. So the houses closer to the expressway down this way, basically they were impacted. But then as the survey went further up, it basically went, less impacted. And I guess there's some sort of study where there had to been so many people impacted by the noise, right, to be able to put up the barrier. So obviously, way back when, we didn't fit those criteria, but then they changed their criteria. That's the way I understood it.
Gotcha. Moving forward, I think it's pretty obvious, but I want to ask you, what do you want to see happen next? Like, do you need more communication? Do you want the barriers up ASAP?
I would like to see a project plan and a date, and let's try to get this thing rolling, right, and complete it as soon as possible.
Silly question. Are you able to enjoy your backyard?
I can, right, if the wind's blowing in the right direction.
How long have you been living in this subdivision?
I've been here since the last 25 years now.
And what's it like living so close to I-75?
It is really, really noisy, and at the time when we moved in, it wasn't that much. But after they rebuilt the 75, it became even more noisier. I don't know what kind of material they put in, or they expanded one more lane, I believe, for a HOV lane, and that might have cost more. And I don't know, another reason is that now if people are having to change the mufflers, and it's just so noisy, as if it's been a racetrack here, and especially during the night hours and summer night hours and 2 a.m., 3 a.m. And my bedroom is right across here and right on the freeway, and we just wake up. So it's not only me, even here on that side, it's about like 200-300 feet away. And those people also in neighbor, they hear that noise.
What's it like on a windy day like today?
It is super, super noisy. I don't know the decibels. If you record it, it may be about 80 to 90 decibels.
On a windy day?
In a windy day, yes.
So what sort of conversations have been happening about bringing a noise barrier?
Yeah, we have been having a lot of conversations. It's been going on since last 2 years. And then we finally got an agreement with the city of Troy, to the federal government, to MDOT, and also with the Lansing team who did the survey and did the noise measurements one of those days. But my only concern was they did the noise measurements when it was a quiet day, not a windy day, less traffic. It was at 6 a.m. in the morning with not much. So it was not during the rush hour. So their measurements were wrong. But still, we got approved for the wall here. I think they wanted like 10 million allocation fund for this. I think somehow they got that thing approved. But the problem here is they haven't, got them in the schedule for MDOT. I know this project seems like it's already up and done, but they couldn't fit it in the schedule. So I do not know whether they have sent out the bid for the contractors to get the wall done. But the latest thing which we got was it will start in the fall of 2025 and will be done by 2026. But again, it's to be seen, right? It's not fully done yet. So
You're not completely optimistic.
completely optimistic. Maybe it's a lip sympathy kind of.
So
Yeah.
I've been learning that this subdivision right next to you was built after this one, and they got a noise barrier.
Yes, they got a noise barrier because of the fact that they qualified, because the number of houses, I don't know the calculation what they do from MDOT to have a wall is how many houses it can contribute to the wall, and is it really a return on their investment. And that because the fact that they had many houses, mine is only like 2-3 houses here, and those neighbors on the other side of the road, they don't qualify because it's about 200 feet away from the freeway. So
How frustrated or disappointed, what is it for you? How are you feeling?
it's very frustrating. Since the day I moved into the house, I cannot enjoy my backyard. I can't have a cup of coffee in the morning to hear the birds chirping or the cool breeze that comes over in the fall. We cannot enjoy the backyard, even though it seems like a private yard, but I can't even enjoy. And it's most of the people in this side of the house we have, right, is all towards the freeway, and I don't think any of them are enjoying the backyard.
Lastly, before we start moving, what are some final takeaways? What do you want to make sure gets included in the story later?
I'm thinking that this has to be represented to the MDOT, and how soon can we get it done? I know they have the schedule, but this has been, we got it approved for almost a year now. Nothing has been done. And I think the local senator, the local city council members, they're all working on it, I believe, but I do not see any traction on that. Even though they promised 2025, the work will begin, but yet to be seen. So my takeaway is, get it done faster. We cannot be like, taking this sound forever now. And it definitely affects the health. You can't sleep. 2 o'clock when it's almost like a racing track, we just in the jerk of that sound, we wake up and we can't go back to sleep. And it's like continuously back and forth.
So have you ever sat outside to have a cup of coffee on your patio?
I never, even though I have rebuilt the patio, you see there's no furniture there,
Oh my
right? So the
goodness.
reason there's no furniture, I cannot sit and enjoy the backyard. Even though you see it's like almost like a private, but it is right next to the freeway. And with the new surface road that's been rebuilt, the 75, I can't even sit here. And even though the trees are there, they can kind of absorb the noise a little bit. I don't see anything that is really blocking that. So I never enjoyed my backyard.
How frustrating is it to know that the subdivision next door, they were built after you guys, but yet they have a noise barrier and you don't?
Yes, it's very frustrating. I've been here much longer than they are. It was all like trees and forest here, and they built the condos, and that time they qualified for whatever reason. However, the MDOT calculates the, your eligibility for the sound wall. They qualified. I couldn't qualify because there's maybe only one house that's next to me, next to the freeway, right?
So we can actually see here the right lane.
Yeah. This is the 75 North.
Yes. How has this been affecting your sleep?
It's affecting a lot, even though I try to put in some of the white noise, which kind of little bit, takes away that. But especially when there is in summer season, there's a lot of traffic, and I know with the new muffler changing, people have, taken it as a racetrack, and that is really affecting us. We wake up at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and you can't go back to sleep. So some of the time, like, weekends, we want to go out somewhere, take a break and, go there, relax and come back.
Wow,
It's a vacation. Yeah, it's such a, frustrating here.
Do you think the noise barrier will come?
That's what we've been told, and anticipating, and with a lot of expectation. But me and my all other subdivision neighbors, we're expecting that should be coming in. But I don't know. It's in paper, but it has to, be put into action.
Do you foresee yourself growing tired of advocating for this, or as long as you're dealing with this, you think you'll always be putting up a fight?
I'm always been putting up the file until I get this, because they promised 25-foot fire, a sound wall, which is ended maybe about 100 feet away from here. The neighbors, they got it, right? So that should be a continuation. If we get that, probably it can, dampen the noise a little bit. I'm not saying it's going to be 100% there, but at least to some extent we'll feel, okay, I can hear the sound, but it's directly not. Decibels will come down.
If the noise barrier comes at the projected timeline that they're saying, what do you think is the first thing you and your family are going to do?
We are going to buy the furniture here and going to sit there, enjoy my cup of tea, a cup of coffee there, and really have fun time here. And this is a wonderful backyard. Never had a chance to enjoy.